It's no longer news in the rugby world that Elton Jantjies will not be taking to the pitch anytime soon. The South African World Cup winner has been slammed with a 4-year ban after he was found guilty of using Clenbuterol, a substance that is banned in the game. So if you're a fan, you might have to get used to watching rugby matches without setting your eyes on Elton. It might be difficult to get used to not seeing Elton play rugby. However, rugby fans all over the world will have to get used to his absence. But what happened to Elton Jantjies, and how did he find himself in this situation? Elton, currently 33, might not be famous as a World Cup winner as he was not part of the squad that won the World Cup in 2023. Also, he might not be your favorite rugby player. But the man who, sadly, might never play rugby professionally anymore is a successful sportsman and even has a Rugby World Cup medal to his name. He was part of the South African team that won the World Cup in 2019. Jantjies was banned from the game on the 18th of January. However, he tested positive for Clenbuterol about 5 months earlier. Interestingly, he was not exactly tested in August as his urine sample was collected in June. The world currently sees Elton as a sportsman who abused a drug, but he has claimed he is innocent and has maintained this claim ever since. This might be difficult to believe. Nonetheless, if the man is saying he didn't make use of a banned substance, then maybe he didn't. So how then did the South African rugby star test positive for Clenbuterol? We will look into the possible ways Elton could have gotten Clenbuterol into his bloodstream. But in the meantime, kindly like and share this video. Also, hit the bell button to avoid missing our other videos. Moving on. Elton is not denying having any form of contact with Clenbuterol, but he appears surprised that he tested positive for it. He knows the rules and is very much aware he could get into trouble if Clenbuterol is found in his system. It is easy to say Elton is guilty, but if he felt guilty, he perhaps wouldn't attempt denying touching this drug. This means his denial of using a banned substance is an indication that there is more to this matter than the average person knows. If you must understand the possibility of Elton having Clenbuterol in his system without actually taking it, then you have to understand what this drug is and why it is rugby players are not allowed to use it. In itself, Clenbuterol is not a bad drug. However, it can up an athlete's performance by increasing their stamina. That's not all. It also comes in handy in helping athletes burn fat and build lean muscles. As nice as its various uses are, Clenbuterol could make athletes unevenly matched, and this is something no one wants. Although Clenbuterol might be strongly associated with helping sportsmen build more stamina, there's more to its use. This drug can help with asthma and other respiratory issues. At this point, you perhaps think people use it because of asthma. However, it is not used to treat asthma and other respiratory issues directly. It is simply used in producing drugs for people dealing with asthma and other respiratory diseases. Since Elton has claimed he did not take this drug, then there should be a possibility he took a drug for either asthma or another respiratory disease. Now, the big question is, does Elton Jantjies have asthma or any other respiratory disease? So far, there are no reports of Elton being asthmatic. Does this mean there's a likelihood he decided to use this drug to burn fat? He's not said anything like this, but the possibility cannot be ruled out. If Jantjies had made it clear he was dealing with asthma, he perhaps would not have to explain anything, as the teams he played for would know. So you might want to assume he's guilty. But do you know he had to buy a nasal spray for an undisclosed respiratory condition? Much later, his wife came out to make it clear he had a hectic sinus and needed the nasal spray to help with the tension in his nose. As it stands, Jantjies has not done anything about the allegation and is not certain if he will be doing anything about it anytime soon. But he has made it clear he will be challenging this allegation. As much as the rugby world expects Elton to do something about the allegation of him using a banned substance, it doesn't seem like he'll be doing anything about it. This might be contrary to what he has said, but the former rugby player could have pushed for a hearing with an independent doping hearing panel, but he did not do that. Right now, it might seem all over for Jantjies. Nonetheless, he has plans that could get him back in the game if things do not go south. His agent Anthony Johnson has made it clear that the player's legal team is on the matter and they are not taking things lying down. Well, it is not clear how long the legal battle will last, but Elton's fans just have to hope things go his way. It might appear Elton, who used to play for Agent, a French second-tier team, is guilty because he has yet to defend himself publicly. However, his agent has made it clear that he will not be releasing any public statements, as these statements will not exactly change the narrative. Speaking of not spending so much time addressing the allegations against him, Elton said, "At this stage, I can say little more about the matter, save that I assure all my supporters that I have not and never will deliberately take a banned substance, and that I will do everything in my power to prove my innocence," he wrote in the statement. "This is another setback in what has been a very volatile time for me, but I shall overcome this with the support of my family and friends. I know that there will be those out there who doubt my innocence, but I hope to prove you wrong in due course. For those who support me, thank you." To rugby fans who do not know so much about Elton, it might seem like he's getting into trouble for the first time in his career, but this is not the first time he's getting into trouble. 2 years ago, the embattled rugby star was arrested and charged in court. He was alleged to have caused malicious damage on a plane owned by Fly Emirates. Not long after his arrest, it seemed things were going to go on badly for a while, but he was a little lucky as the case against him got withdrawn after he decided to pay for damages. Getting into trouble because of damage to a property was huge. But that even wasn't the only time the banned rugby player got into trouble before his issues with drug use. He was once dismissed from Springbok camp in a rugby championship, and guess what? He allegedly had an affair with the team dietitian. Jantjies might not be ending his career on the best of notes, but he had quite a good career. He had 46 caps for the Springboks. While this is quite impressive, his last cap was in August 2022, and it was in a game against Australia. Although Elton was perhaps not the most appreciated player on his team, he can be said to have played at the highest level regardless of how you look at it. The South African was a part of the squad that came back to South Africa with the William Webb Ellis Cup. Jantjies will always be celebrated for winning one Rugby World Cup, but he almost won two. He almost played in the 2023 Rugby World Cup after making it into the team as a backup player in case a player got injured. He looked forward to another World Cup. Sadly, he got released before the World Cup. Beyond playing for his country, Elton Jantjies also had quite a career with a couple of clubs around the world. In his home country of South Africa, he played for the Lions and Stormers. He did not just play in South Africa. He went ahead to play for Shining Arcs and the Red Hurricanes in Japan. Finally, he played in France before being caught up in this drug mess, which led to the end of his contract with agent. Only time will tell if Elton Jantjies gets to play rugby again professionally. Will this ban be lifted, or is this the end of the road for him? Kindly tell us what you think in the comment section below. Also, please subscribe to this channel if you're new here. See you in the next video.